Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of double X.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide.
That's right, you tell them, little buddy. You tell them, what's up, y'all? What's up, family? You're listening to Late Night with Jerry Royce Live Worldwide, a.k.a. the Batman of Charm City. And my host, right here in Baltimore. They call her Kelly Holland. All right. Got a great show for you guys tonight. We got a special guest tonight. We got an author here to talk to you about her book. So we're going to have a great time. And, of course, we always have a great time with Kelly Holland herself. What's up, Kelly Holland? How's it holding down? And be more.
Hey, Baltimore. Hey, Batman. How is everyone? Good?
We are well. Batman hanging in there.
Didn't keep me down this time. How about you?
Man, that was a lot of work. I couldn't get my snowplow to work. I tried. I hooked it up to electricity and everything. Just couldn't jump it. Man, I tell you, them
Sorry
carburetors.
to hear, Batman.
I know. I
used the power of a 12-year-old. Hallelujah to the 12-year-olds.
My help is gone. See, my help is
right.
in
He
school.
just cleared off the walkway and the deck or whatever. But I absolutely have to get my landscaper to come, and he does my driveway for me. But although I didn't ask him to come this time, he still called and checked on me. So
All right.
shout out to all the landscapers. They offer winter services.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Pedro and them to be let back in the country.
You ain't right. You ain't right. You know what? My guy, he's one of us, and he goes to my church. So, and we didn't know any of that at first. I was just so desperate for a new service because my guy couldn't come back into the country.
Yeah, but I heard president, the new president is letting them back in. Yeah.
Well,
seen the light go out.
I mean, hey, I don't even know what to say about that, but I didn't understand the evacuation anyway. I was in class when COVID's been around so long, I hadn't even graduated yet. I was in class when it first broke out, and some of the international students were immediately sent back to their home countries. Didn't really understand that, but hopefully they were able to complete their education.
Yeah. Well,
anyhow, it's funny we talk about that because we have an educator online with us tonight.
Yeah. Actually, she's not in the queue yet. We're reaching out to see what's going on. With Miss Anna J. Small Rosborough is our guest tonight. I didn't get a chance to read her bio all the way through, but I guess you did.
Of course,
she did
I'm
a lot.
always ready.
Yeah, it was like 2 pages.
I'm always ready.
Yeah, it was like 2 pages, so she got a lot going on.
Nothing. So, it was you funny, Batman. It wasn't just 2 pages. They was actually 2 separate bios. One that spoke more about her history and education and how she received all those letters behind her name and what activities she's into, and then the other spoke more about her life and her poetry. So yeah, 2 bios. One would have sufficed, but I was able to learn so much about her.
Yeah.
What
that's
I'm curious
important.
about is what she wants to be called. Batman is like Anna J, Miss Small, Miss Frost.
And I had a production meeting
I was very interested
on that today. Yeah, we actually had a production meeting on that today, sending out like a little short sheet on talking points of the guests, because now we starting to get some people we're not familiar with, where before a lot of the people we've been familiar with, because they've been our Facebook friends, but now they're coming from other circles. So you kind of want to know what direction they want to go in, so it won't be a dry interview. So
Well,
I
right,
get it.
right.
Yeah.
But you know me. I'm gonna try to pull something out if you'll let me. If you'll let me. Some guests, they stood their ground, and there's nothing else we can do but to respect that. And some guests, they come on and they're just full blown transparent. And, we love that. And it makes up for a great show, I would say.
Yeah.
But if she's not able to get in the queue tonight, I'm sure we'll welcome him back on, and you and I can handle this show like we've done before.
we can reach out to her again. I think she's from the Michigan area, so I'm not sure what the weather's like there, but they known for getting snow. Snowed in.
Right, but what about the time zone? Is that a different time zone? Is that a 1 hour behind? Now you got me looking on my time zone here.
Yeah, they close to. Yeah, they kind of what? I guess they could be Chicago town. So I think it is 2 hours. I think you're right because
1 hour, right?
1 hour. I thought it was 2.
Michigan is Eastern Standard Time.
Is it? Oh,
but then it says Central.
Yeah, I think they Central because I know Chicago. When we are Chicago, it's like 2 hour difference.
Well, she probably not in the queue because she thinks she still got an hour.
Yeah,
she probably salting her driveway.
Yeah, she still got daylight, maybe.
They don't have no daylight.
But the days are getting a little longer now, though.
You noticed that too?
Yeah.
It was like 5 o'clock today, and the sun was still up. I said, "Well, Jeezy Weezy, this little global woman thing, even the animals look a little confused. They be all up all early.
Yeah,
I got a rooster crowing in the middle of the afternoon around here. I don't know where this rooster is, but that thing crows all day.
One of your neighbors must got one because sometimes people do raise their own chickens, and you don't know it until you hear the rooster. Yeah.
Right. And that was an interesting life lesson discussion I had with the kids yesterday, as a matter of fact. They're like, are eggs former chicken babies or whatever? And I'm like, well, they weren't incubated. So in a sense, yeah. And then my daughter's like, well, we have a lot of chickens. I was like, and chickens get down, honey. She was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, how you think we get so many chickens? I said, that rooster being there.
Yeah, I guess their cycle's a lot different than other animals, Even the regular birds, because I think the regular birds like blue jays only probably, because I know it's one that always nests in our front, but I'm only seeing like once a year the spring. She lay eggs, like 3 eggs, and sometimes I peep in on them, see what's going on.
Oh,
yeah. So maybe like, and they grow up fast too, because I remember one time I took a picture and I said I'm gonna check on them in 2 weeks, man. They were gone. Guess they flew off.
Wow. Okay, so I had to pull up a map, and Michigan is mostly Eastern. There's a little teeny bit, 1, 2, 3, 4 counties that's in a central.
Oh wow, that's odd.
Time zone.
Isn't that something? Mm-hmm. You drive across the border.
Well, Texas does that.
Yeah, drive across
Texas
the border.
does the same thing. That little portion under New Mexico is that mountain time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah. So the rest of Texas, I guess, is what because they are Iowa, I think, too, right?
Right, they're central. Yeah. You know what? Looking at this map, I'm learning a lot more. Parts of Indiana at the top and the bottom, just the left corners though. Mm-hmm. Everything else is
you try to get a visual, the way the United States is set up, and then sometimes you're like, wow, I didn't realize that, a lot of those states are like Midwest,
True.
They're not that, they're not really in the middle of anything, Mm-hmm. And I guess it's situated, the border. Yeah, geography was always one of my favorite subjects. Even when it came to studies of Africa, the way things went on, with the beginning of Africa versus post-Africa was way different makeup. When all the European countries and the United States went in and the Asian country and they started divvying up Africa. It was just funny how they just went in and just said, you have that one, I take this one.
Man,
that was crazy.
The more I educate myself, the more I see how the invasion of the Caucasian man
all of it. It was like all the races.
World.
Yeah.
The demise of the world. No, because they was all nestled right there up in England, poor weather, poor sun. And, and then they want to venture out and explore and conquer lands that were already designated. And so that whole situation aggravates me, especially when I'm gaining this knowledge. I'm waking up. I'm learning, what they didn't teach me in public school. And now, the children and I, we have these conversations about it, and you can see it in different movies, the colonialism being forced on the natives of the land. And oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, if anybody really want to, really check out some really nice documentaries on our civilization, they can check out. It was a real interesting story on what happened in Congo during the rise of Belgium. Belgium was suffering pretty bad. I think after World War II, I believe it was either before World War II or after. But they had made a lot of money on the storage of ivory. But then when the world I guess the World Confederate, whatever, the world government or the Geneva Convention got together and say, hey, you can't be, going in Africa poaching. The elephants and the rhinos anymore. Then they found another way to survive, and that was the rubber trees. They found out that Africa, Congo has like really tall trees that the rubber's at the top. I think they got to cut it, and then the Africans got to actually. They can't really bring it down in baskets or nothing, so they actually spread it on their bodies and come back down the tree, and then I guess the Belgian soldier, whoever, or maybe their wives or whoever, pull the rubber off their skin, and then I think they wrap it up and store it in baskets. They said it's really painful, and a lot of them really don't want to come to work the next day. If they don't, they will find their spouse and they will lose a hand. Or
that's
whatever.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was like
you
that
want to
was
come
the
here,
punishment.
take my resources, and then punish me as if I'm your slave.
Yeah,
all of that mess, and it just makes me wish. Okay, what are Caucasians good at? Enterprising, machinery, and chaos to some extent.
Yeah, but if you look at but look at this though. If you look at some of those inventions, it was the brother man trying to find an easy way to do some of that stuff. He's like, wait a minute,
absolutely,
I don't have to dig the dish. I just invented a shovel, so I don't need to use my hands or a cardboard box.
We've always been that way, right?
Yeah.
We've always been that way with useful tools, but they do destruction tools, and that's different. Yeah. We have hunting tools. They have annihilation tools. Like for what? What do you need all of that for?
Man, it's like
that's.
I'm gonna show you how to process cotton without me having to be out there all day in the hot sun. Cotton gin.
And then you're gonna sit up there and mind jerk me and say I'm lazy. I'm this. I'm
yeah,
this, I'm that.
That was the craziest thing.
But look at that snowball effect. Yeah. How you took away the education, you took away the culture, you took away the history, and look at us now.
We tired, man. Yeah, that's funny when you hear about that when they say. And I think I just heard that something. I think it was something in politics. I'm not sure if it was the hearing, but it was something I heard where someone said, "Yeah, matter of fact, it was a piece I heard on Nona Jones. She does a really good interview, and she went there, and I think it was like she was asking them questions, that they're saying about us, and so the answer was, why we lazy? They never really said it. They say we lazy, but like, okay, where are we lazy at? We get the worst jobs. It's like you're gonna be tired eventually. You need a vacation. Yeah, if you take off, you don't get paid, so you got to come to work every day, regardless, and you're gonna be exhausted. And so you will be eventually, now you're ailing. You got back problems like crazy.
Right, they work you down to the bone, and you're a test subject. Yeah. And I'm going to say whatever I need to say to convince you, that you're doing this for the greater good of something. The greater good of your family. If you don't keep this job or whatever the consequences may be, and that's not how it was meant to be. We aren't meant to sit here and fake happy all day long. Like, shout outs to the people that work in jobs like that, like Chick-fil-A. Them people cannot be happy all day long, 24/7. I mean, even at your happiest times, you get a moment to just be, and then, and it's always 1,000,002 people working there. I'm just, my pleasure. As a consumer, I love it. I love great customer service, but I feel for the people that have to put on that work. Or what about people that work like Disney or, just those amusement parks where you just gotta.
Well, you gotta have, you have to have a special personality for those jobs. Because I remember when I was working part time at Best Buy, we had to be real chipper and welcome people into our zone. And I mean, I can put up with it for 4 hours, but on 8-hour shifts on Saturdays, it was kind of rough because now you're juggling 2-3 customers at the same time. Because we was in the computer department, a lot of people didn't really know what they was buying.
We got questions.
Yeah, so you had to spend time with them. So you learn to. Now I can handle that stuff when I was younger. But now, I only can handle one customer every hour.
Okay.
He's like,
he said one at an hour, honey, and
Yeah.
I get it. I
Wear
definitely
you
get it.
down.
It breaks you down,
Yeah.
and that's the type of job for these little younger kids.
Yeah, they find
They
the
don't need
transmitters.
much knowledge to be
The brain is firing off a lot faster than now. As you get older, you get closer to that point where you can't think for yourself. You can't do nothing.
We ain't getting that old yet.
I mean, we're more closer than that than we are younger, right?
Well, if the clock could turn back, I think a few of us would, go back a few years with the knowledge we have today and just blow up,
Yeah.
redo all the mistakes that we could. Here's an interesting question for you, Batman. Considering all that you've accomplished in life, if you could take all of that knowledge and all that you've foreseen and go back 10, 20 years, how much different would Positive Power Double XI be?
Well, that's a good question. And it's a lot to think on because, I mean, I like where I am, right now, but I wish I would have had an opportunity to actually have worked in broadcasting somewhere, But the thing about it is the technology is not as user-friendly. I mean, it's more user-friendly now. One, because it's more, one is more affordable, and it doesn't take long to put out content. Like I put out 8 television shows a week, right?
I know that's right,
but
man.
Back in the day when I learned how to edit, because I was working at the Comcast studios in Catonsville when they was working, on the campus, and we were, I took night courses
at the college.
Yeah, and editing took forever. It might took a week just to get that 25 minutes in or whatever, or commercial.
It definitely did. That stop and start machine, it looked like a big old cassette recorder.
The little
and
micros,
all these components. Right, because they taught you that when you were working the radio station at high school or something, and you had to edit your shows. Right, and so I had a little taste of it, but it was only for radio, and I can't even imagine what it'd be like for TV. Oh, no, we did make videos. We made videos.
Yeah, man,
we made a music video. That's what the task was. We had to make a music video.
Yep.
That thing was hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to cut people in, cut people out, and do the shot, make sure it's long enough but quick enough, so you don't get bored, and all the things that goes into that. Or if you ever take the time to watch a movie from the 80s or the early 90s, you see the graphics is horrible compared to now. You see how slow and steady those shots were, how long the shots were just sitting there sedentary. And I'm just looking at all the craftsmanship like, wow.
Yeah, think about it. And just think this, when Spike Lee was making those movies, his first couple of films, those guys couldn't look at the film after they shot it. They just had to hope the camera was working,
Really?
holding his breath the whole time. They doing all these hard shots meaning that if you got to reshoot, it's going to cost you that much money because you got to redo everything with the same people and
with the extra takes. That's expensive.
Yeah, that's why they try to do extra takes, and they a lot of times they only can afford to have one of those cameras on the scene. So even now, we got the opportunity that you can bring a laptop with you, and then you can shoot with a big old monitor connected to the camera so you can really see what you got, and run it back on the camera, or take the film out, and look at it.
Well, if they like Batman, they'll have their little arm steady thing you use, and you have your little mobile cell phone thing going. I'm like, this man is going to catch these moments no matter where he is.
Right,
he is ready.
It's like the backup.
I know, right?
Guy shot. Look, anytime they've been shooting movies on Apple phones, I can shoot a TV show on one if I got to.
You got that right, Batman. He said, I can do that.
But we always, always had 2 cameras, especially when we had, guests flying in from the West Coast, Paula, spending all the money to come here, to be here for 2 days. I always make sure we shot with 2 cameras. So we had our middle camera, and then we had I said I wasn't gonna fool around with having too many shots. We just gonna get the main shot. If we don't have that
maybe
one,
like a side angle.
yeah. And I stop and take me. I take some time and I bring it into the editing room and look at it right in the video editor, so I know what I got. So
I know that's right, Batman.
I mean, that's the luxury we have, now versus back then. A lot of money.
The technology, it's definitely improved, especially with all the other shows that you do outside of the 8 shows that you do. But you know what? Going back to Spike Lee really quick, his famous shot, the rolling shot that he does.
I know why she hates that shot.
Back then, back then he iconed that shot, and so I was happy.
That was a big camera too. That camera was huge. I don't even know how they did
it have
that.
like the two little Mickey Mouse ears, like film things? Is it that old?
Those cameras they were huge. Film cameras are way different than television broadcasting cameras. Now they all the same pretty much. You can use the same cameras. Yeah, them Red Dragons. Last time I priced one, they were $10,000.
Oh, geez.
And now you can get a camera for $1,200 and shoot the same quality. Except for now, they doing 4K Ultra and all this other stuff just to get more money out of you.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, are you going to really be able to tell the difference if you don't have a 4K TV?
Yeah, you can't really tell because a lot of the broadcasting companies are not really broadcasting in that quality anyway. But if you watching like movies, this is 4K. You probably will see the difference. You're seeing too much stuff, but more than anything, you just can see. It's just like you looking at the scene, like you standing there yourself. That's how they wanted to look, without the 3D effect, just this traditional 2D. But it is
right, because I was watching a movie at my friend's house, and I think they had the 4K TV. But then, like when the Super Bowl was on, the Super Bowl, that thing looked digitized. Like it just wasn't. It wasn't clear. Like I thought.
Yeah, they not broadcasting right. They're not broadcasting in 4K like that. But if you go to some of your streaming platforms, sometimes you may be able to pull some streams coming in like that. But it changes so fast. Like on your phone, I think that's what the new Android phones are going to be. New Androids, the new iPhones coming out, going to be able to look at 4K. Movies and stuff, and a lot of people do watch movies on their laptops and stuff. So you may start seeing laptops getting to that next level too. Because I heard that i9s are coming out now, and they jumped up tremendously. The prices for laptops, the price jumped up. Because people need them and they need.
I slid in. One. I'm definitely one of those people. Like right now, my laptop needs to go in for service, and I just don't want to be without it, so I'm dealing with it.
Yeah, but you you got to switch to your tablet. See, that's when you got to have a tablet as a backup.
Yeah, I do. I do need a backup. I'm too connected to my computer to not have a backup. You're right. All right, so we'll be sending off some sponsor letters. We need equipment over here.
That's right. So I'm profit, man. You gotta reach out.
We got to reach out, that's right? Get our needs supported. But speaking of the Super Bowl, that crap show, what did you think about it?
Well, I mean, I thought my homeboy was going to show out, but what? One thing I did say that worked out in our favor is and this is for Skeet. Skeet gets so upset when he watch YouTube and the sportscasters is talking about Lamar. Like he's the worst quarterback. He's like, wait a minute. They tell him that this guy, he need to learn how to pass when he threw for more touchdowns than any quarterback last year. And and then this year, he had a makeshift line. He lost his Pro Bowl right tackle. He lost his Pro Bowl left tackle. As soon as the guy got the big check, he got hurt. So then they moving people around that wasn't ready to play yet. And then they didn't have no preseason, so they didn't get a chance to gel. And so the same thing happened to Mahomes. He went out there with a makeshift line because one of their best players got hurt, so they moving people around. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was coming at him, and he didn't have a chance to blink. He was on the run.
Yeah, I know. He was running. It was at points where he was like
He was on the
almost 30
run.
yards deep. I'm like,
I
brother, throw
know.
the
He was
ball.
30
Please don't
yards.
let them hit you.
He was 30 yards. And I mean, that dude, my mom said, oh, they need to take him out the game. He's going to get hurt. I said, nope, Ma, he making about $400 million. He ain't going nowhere. He going to play that one out.
Yeah, I felt bad for Mahomes. My son and I, we stopped watching around the third quarter. We just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then the memes were coming out about the weekend so fast. I was just crying, laughing, holding my stomach. The way people jumped on that man so fast.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, we was kind of into the game, and because we used to, the kids being there. It was just, just us trying to make it work. Watching old Brady just, they just did Trump all over the Chiefs.
Well,
but,
did Skeet watch the game?
Well, Skeet, he's strictly diehard Ravens fan.
I know that's right, Skeet.
He said he's gonna wait until the Super Bowl blow before he go back and see what them guys are saying, because for one thing, and I was listening to, I was looking at some of the tweets of some of the some journalists that are big time Lamar fans, and they were saying, how come my homie get a pass when he had a makeshift line and throwing the ball on his top of his head, his helmet. He was practically a half inch off the ground. He was still trying to make them throws because he had nothing. But when Lamar be doing that,
just kind of floating the ball through open holes.
Yeah, he said when Lamar does that and throw sidearm and stuff, he said, "Wow, what's wrong with his throwing motion and why is he doing
I love
this?"
It when he's creative like that.
Yeah, so so he gets upset, so he didn't, he gonna wait it out a little bit till he missed football probably.
Okay, Skeet feels the bias. I understand. Skeet,
because he mad right now.
Injustice.
See, Mimi, plus Mimi tore up his stuffed animal named Lamar. His stuff, his stuff. He got a little football. He got a gift. Actually, it really wasn't his gift. I think it was Mimi's gift. Actually, it was like a little.
Mimi took it back.
Yeah, like it was little. Yeah, it was a little gingerbread man, but for the Ravens.
Said, if I can't have you, nobody can.
I think she ripped his head off, and he was upset because he thought it was his. Yeah, maybe didn't play.
For our listeners tuning in, if you do not know, Skeet Jones is a part of our Positive Power XXI family. He is a unique little character, and sometimes he and Mimi, which is Batman's superpower lady, little fur friend,
a little doggy, my exercise mate,
little fur friend.
Yeah, my exercise mate. She the only one would go out in freezing cold and walk 2 miles. Nobody else won't go. She'll go. She liked the snow and the cold weather. It's funny because she was born in Georgia, and she loves the cold weather. Yeah. Put a little
it's
puffy.
Nice to see the dogs get out and jump all in the snow and play in it.
Oh, yeah. She don't want to come back in. I was like, aren't your toes cold by now? We got to go.
Mimi doesn't have any winter boots. I know you dress her up.
They come off. My neighbor said he tried to put some on his dog, and they just come right on off. Even with the Velcro, they just come right off. They just that's one invention they haven't gotten right yet. The doggy footwear. It only looks good when they're in the cart. They can wear it. That's all this for show. Still. Yeah.
Oh, it's can't for walk show. In it. Boo.
Yeah. Can't walk in it. Nothing like that.
That's okay.
But I got some updates for you though. Is I guess you heard Paula G's show is now airing in the Bronx now, and I was telling people that station is remarkable. I mean, anybody, you need to go out there and check out their programming. And I was listening to some of their programming the other day. They had a panel, people talking about what's going on today. And then, of course, they go back to their projects. And then listening to them, they were mentioning that they had films, projects on Netflix. I said, wait a minute. My colleagues.
That's big money right
I know.
there.
I said, my colleagues have movies on Netflix? Who are these people? I had to start looking them up.
Yeah, we need to make new friend contacts.
Yeah.
But shout out to Paula G. She's always been honing in on her craft, building herself and reinventing herself to be the woman that she is. She's been in this game for a long time, and she deserves to be on the TV network.
Start out in
and
survival.
She ain't the only one coming from Positive Power XXI. So clearly, they are rooted in the right place. Amen.
Yeah. And sometimes when you look at these opportunities to expand your territory, you can't take take this stuff for granted because it's hard getting on TV. You know, they dissect, you know, the shows, they look at them, and then, you know, you just got to wait the game out, find out if you approve, and then you got to make your deposit and hope, you know, you get a decent time slot.
Amen.
So it's not an
Right, you don't
easy,
want that
it's
3
not
a.m.
an easy process because especially, I mean, here in Baltimore, man, I know people been trying to get on their Comcast network for a long time. Either you got to pay a whole lot of money or there's no room, you know. And I visited some of those stations, man, and I mean, they have some shows, and them people are not trying to come down off of them. It's just the way it is.
Why would they?
Yeah. And I found out something too.
What's that?
I found out that there's it's a law that all local governments have to make all their public hearings public on television locally.
Yeah, Maryland Public TV.
Yeah, but I mean it's like every state, every local government in this country, they have to broadcast a live feed to the public, you know, on local television. I didn't know that was a law. Yeah. And
What channel is it? Is that a channel we don't get?
it's like every state has it. It's like it's a station you go to, and there's nothing but just all local government stuff on there. They may have stuff from the health department, you know, law enforcement, the mayor, the governor. It's every state has it.
Wow.
Yep. You know, and some of them actually have 3 channels where one is in Spanish, English, and then sometimes they may have channels available for the community, so they can, you know, you can find out like a community events that's going on, especially in the South. They real big with that. You know, if you ever go out to especially North Carolina, they have a lot of stations where they have channels that's just devoted to just the community. You know, if you want to find out about gun shows and car shows, you know, they actually have you can actually submit, you know, your commercials and they will air it. If it's, you know, it's like a PSA, you know, announcement of upcoming event, like a church event coming up there, let you air it as a commercial, 30-second commercial. And they have the calendar.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Promote the community people and the local businesses.
Yeah, because that's real big on the Eastern Shore too. They have a lot of their communities have their own channel, and some of them are managed by either a television production company who is like they bid for it, and or is operated by a foundation, but they bring in television people to run the station. Yeah. A lot of people didn't know that. Yeah, but
you taught me something.
Yeah, but see, if you're in a larger market, the larger markets have more channels. See, I didn't know that.
True.
Yeah, they have like way more channels, and they get a lot of money from those cable stations for programming. You know, like for equipment, like up in New York, they have like state of the art studios that the producers don't pay anything for, and they get trained on equipment, all the latest software. They have ongoing training even online. Some of it's like $5, and you can learn how to use some of the most sophisticated. Yeah, this is stuff that a lot of people don't know about. I mean, you probably learn about it if you studying telecommunications right now, and that's your field, because a lot of times these kids will go to those locations to get there because they have to do an internship.
Absolutely.
So they go to those stations because a lot of times you go to big networks, they're not going. You have. I mean, they're just going to run you for coffee and donuts and stuff. You're not going to get a chance to even look at the camera. where it's located. So they do set these. Like I said, the big markets do it, especially in New York. In New York, they have a lot of film schools, and even in Florida have a lot of expensive film schools because them kids pay a lot of money to go to film school.
It was music mostly down there.
When in Florida?
Florida.
No, they have a lot of. They have. Just think about this. Well, you're right about the music too, because I didn't know this neither. A lot of the seasoned musicians that play for like some of your real popular R&B groups, remember like your Larry Graham and the brass orchestra, all those really big groups, Earth, Wind and Fire. I found out a lot of those guys retired working for Disney. They actually work for the Disney company. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, they were either they in production or in live events.
Them Disney checks are huge, I heard,
Yeah.
and they pay well.
Right, and
I
they
heard.
retired. That's how they retired. Those musicians. 'Cause, you know, a lot of musicians, a lot of those guys get into engineering and they open up their own studios. You know,
Right, because I was wondering how Teddy Riley was still, doing well. Blackstreet and all
yeah,
of
them
that.
guys got it right. They have like big studios and they rent it out. You know, 7 days a week. You know, they in there engineering. You know, track because you have everybody. I mean, just think about all the people that graduate from music programs, and even the ones that didn't, who are artists. They have to have someone master their sound. You know, their tracks. You just can't just let anybody do it on the computer. You can tell. You know, the greats
Right.
know. Yeah. So I found that to be really interesting to know that.
That's an area that I've always encouraged my son to get into, just because he has those natural abilities. And even now, even though it was virtual, when he was in school, he was working the boards and the behind the scene. I don't know what it's called, but I think it's a board, to make sure the production went on good. I actually told him that I wanted him to come mentor at the studio. I'm like, Batman can always use some help.
Yeah,
And,
no doubt, man. Especially
yeah.
because you got to have a
I'm gonna
sound
introduce
guy.
you to
Yeah, everything that goes on in production, it should be one person, not one person doing everything. You know,
Right.
you need, and one of the things that's so great about him starting out. My son started out like that too. He was in school. They found out he had a little experience. He was actually, I think, in elementary school, being part of the morning broadcast, team, making announcements.
Okay.
Yep, they had their little PA system, and the kids operated
Right.
everything. Yeah.
Correct.
So when he
You
got
remember.
So when he got to high school, one of his instructors found out through because they had an interview there. When they have career day. They had a big career day at Newtown, and it was a
Did you
guy
go?
was there that actually had a production company studio. So he was there to, lend his hand out to the community, interview the kids, and he found out that my son he saw his resume. He said, "Wow, man, you do more than I do." He said, "We get all this experience from." And so he told it to a teacher or something. He must have mentioned it, and they asked him, could he be part of a video production? One of the teachers wanted to do a documentary on how she got into dance.
Okay.
Yep. So he helped her do that. So it took him like 2 days to film. He said, so that was
Oh
really
my gosh,
interesting.
that was fast.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
He didn't have to do the editing or anything. I think he just, had to do some field work. And I'm not sure where she got the rest of the footage from. Maybe it was some stuff she already had that never, some people do stuff and it's never completed because they're still living. So they're still waiting,
Correct.
like me. I'm still working on my film on diabetes called Living with Dirty Diana. But it's like, because I'm still kind of on the journey. And now
You
we're in
got
the
them titles, man. You got them titles.
well, after
I gotta give it to you.
after saying dirty, after saying diabetes for so long, after a while, you just don't want to live that word anymore. And the pastors and everybody always talking about, especially your world renowned speakers, always saying, manifest what you want, speak it into existence. Then you have to think about it too. It's like, well, do you really want to speak of the negative all the time? And that's, saying that same word, diabetes, every day. People say, how you doing? My diabetes got me down. What's wrong, man? I'm diabetic. So they keep speaking it to themselves all the time. And I got to the point, I'm listening to these guys say what they say, especially my man, Reverend Ike. I said, got to be something to this. So I just started calling it dirty.
Okay.
And then it just Diana, So I just say, hey, this is what my film is going to be about. And the way it's going, it looks like, because I did talk to a lot of experts, people who looking at, modern day research, because, now it's starting to change where people can monitor their glucose like every minute now through their smartphone,
phones.
Yep, we got a chip for you. So now it's changed so much. Like I have a machine that's wireless. When I have issues, it sends a signal to the nurse, and she will text me, "You okay?" I'm like, wow, that was quick. I just
Perfect.
uploaded it. Yeah. So it's like that now that your providers, if they, and a lot of the providers, especially the endocrinologists, they not really into modern. Because my endocrinologist, he was still carrying a flip phone. So there's no way he's going to be able to monitor anybody because he had a whole front office of older ladies that's running the offices in their 70s. I think his phlebotomist she was the youngest person, and she was like in her 40s. She ain't nobody talk to. Yeah, everybody else was old. They had great grandkids. They had great grandkids in his front office. Yeah. So it's like no way I can even fathom that he would even move into that modern era with the smartphone. Where he can monitor you, and he can get an alert sent right to his computer, and he say, "We need to get Jerry in here. His numbers are a little sky high. We got to find out what is he doing."
Correct.
He could never do that because he was still carrying a flip phone.
So you had to leave your doctor.
He wasn't. Well, he left me. He actually moved to Seattle. Him and his wife had a great opportunity to take over a really nice size home that her parents was leaving to her because they wanted to move into a retirement home and it was paid for. So he said, "Hey, it's better than my crib." So they rolled out and he moved his practice with a friend that because they know everybody. So
okay.
So he was a really good doctor too because he was able to do everything. He did he did the physicals. He did the lab work. So he with some things he did that I really appreciated. The now it's like. You got to go see your general,
Your primary care.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they don't really know a whole lot. And that's that's the problem.
And then they got to write you a referral. Yeah. You got to go see a specialist and all that other crap.
Yep. Yeah. More money.
More money.
So he was able to do so much that he kept the cost down, because he was able to do everything, And I didn't have to leave to go to, to another one of those, places, facilities to get blood drawn and wait in line. Mm-hmm. He did it all. He had his own phlebotomist right there, So I miss that. I miss him, of course,
They're all in one care. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, and it's hard finding endocrinologists is going to take on because there's way more diabetics than endocrinologists, and that's a hard field too. He said it's one of the most specialized fields because they have to know everything about every major organ, the brain, kidney, pancreas, liver, spleen.
All that goes into it. The dirty Diana.
He has to know about the whole nervous system, how that works, how you wire it. I mean, he knows about everything. So when he look at that chart, that blood chart, any little numbers off, he knows he has to make an adjustment to the medicine of some sort. And then one time, I remember my numbers were so bad, he scratched his head. My wife said, "Ooh."
She already knew that was it.
That wasn't good.
She was being bad. You was eating that mess.
No. I had at the time I had uncontrollable. See, a lot of people realize it's different types of type 2, and one of the ones is that like some people that's type 2, they do can produce a little insulin, but if you need help, you can take a shot. The problem was I'm allergic to that insulin that they manufacture. I get the hives. I'll be itching like crazy. I mean, I can take it if I can handle the itching every day. But so I had to find another way to keep the numbers low. And he didn't really, like one thing about doctors, they think medicine is like all the in all. He wouldn't say, "All right, let's tell you what, I just saw some new research. It's experimental right now, but let's give it a try." He never would say that. He just was like, "Well, let's try this pill. Let's maybe take half of that pill. Let's maybe a pill and a half. Take this one now. Try this one in the morning this time, and this one in the evening. All right, let's switch." So it was always that. It's a switcheroo.
Sound like you had a love-hate relationship with your doctor.
But that's how they all work though. That's how all of them work, and you can talk to Coach Jane about that, because she worked in the Army hospital. She was a supervising nurse, and she know that those guys don't know a lot about nutrition. We had a guy on her show that was an internist, but he specialized in alternative medicine. That was like his main thing, is teaching you how to take care of yourself through foods, nutritional food. So what I found out, I was on YouTube and I was hearing about all these football players that was type 1, which means they don't produce no insulin. I was like, how are they able to play a 3-hour football game, the whole game, every snap, all these snaps? So I started reading up on some of them and found out that an athlete discovered that the muscles actually produce, when you're building muscles, it actually produces a hormone itself. And the hormone actually is in the bloodstream and it eats up the glucose for energy. So you don't have to wait for it to pass through your cell lining to get into your system for energy. It kind of helps you out. So you have to work your way up to that you can be able to tolerate a whole lot of weightlifting. And what happened was when I went to go draw some blood one day at an urgent care place, because I had to start going to them when he left because it was hard. I was on a waiting list for so many endocrinologists, and I didn't want to. Yeah, and I didn't want to deal with another regular practitioner because they don't know nothing. So what happened was when I went to do my blood work, because that's the only way they're going to write you a prescription, because he had gave me enough medicine for like 90 days and then a refill, but then it was like I was out. So I went to patient first, and they said they would do it. So they called me at the office, and I heard all these, people cheering and stuff. I'm like, what the heck going on?
What's the cheering about?
Yeah, so the nurse Patricia, she said the doctors want to know, how did you do it? I said, do what? She said, you don't have diabetes anymore. How did you reverse it? How you do it? What did you do? Because she said they never met anybody ever.
Batman. Come on, Batman. This is a miracle from God, and this is your testimony. You speaking in on us. What are you saying?
But see, I had done it twice before, and I remember I did it through a lot of exercise because I was actually training with my son's football team. When he was playing football, I was like the film guy. Instead of just standing around, I would run with them, up the hills and do some of the stuff they were doing, to get myself going, and lose some weight. And so then that's when I went to go see that. When I went to see that doctor, she knew about diabetes. She was from New York, and she knew a lot about it. So she was like, wow, But the thing about it, she didn't get a chance to really like enjoy the glory because she decided to give up her practice here in Baltimore, and she went back home to New York. So when I was without a doctor. So when a friend, one of my coworkers told me about her doctor, was out Columbia, nice integrated system, everything nice, everything right there. The nutritionist there, everybody. So when I went to see her and she drew the blood and called me and say, you don't have diabetes. I said, yes, I do. She said, no, you don't. Look at your chart. Because she just met me,
Right.
And I don't think she had my medical records from the other doctor. So she just said, you don't have it. So then when I came back to go see her, because I was like, oh, wow, good. So I'm back to normal. I'm back to eating what I want to eat. Rice, back to the Subway, all them places, And next thing you know, I was still training hard because I needed the carbs to train for the marathon, the short, the 5Ks, right? So when I went to see her, because what happened was it wasn't that I wasn't exercising, wasn't eating right. It just that it was so much stress was coming on. You get that stress from your day job, your 9 to 5 was starting, things were starting to change because, 45 had moved into the big house and everything changed with all the agencies. Yeah. It was no leadership and everybody was like going after each other, So anyway, because of the stress, that's one thing that diabetics cannot deal with. She said, oh, that's bad. She said, because once you hit that stress, because your body is giving off more, another chemical, and the body thinks it's under attack. So I don't care how great of a diet you have and how much weightlifting and how much running. When the body thinks it's under attack, it's war. That thing is firing off. So it's like, so now your body's out of whack. And so it's like, it's really hard to get the numbers down. It's like, man, you need to be off for 30 days. You need to just stay home. That's what you got to do. But I couldn't do it because I was actually in a training program at the time. That's the thing. Training programs are very stressful because you're being tested. Then you're dealing with different personalities, in the classroom. Because I went to a training one time with Blue Cross Blue Shield for customer service. I just got married. And I remember I was working. I got out of publishing because technology was like streamlining everybody's job away, and the companies were being bought out. So the companies were starting to shrink. The foreign companies were buying out all American publishing and printing companies. Because remember, Amazon actually purchased a lot of printing companies themselves. Remember, they started doing all that printing T-shirts and mugs and stuff.
Amazon just blew up.
Yep,
Yeah,
they were buying up all the small printing houses that the book publishing company was giving up. So even that company that used to print like the Ravens program books and all that stuff, they got bought out. Because I remember that because one of my friends worked for me. He was like a manager. He ended up starting his own contracting business because he was used to making a certain amount of money. So so that's why I got out of publishing, because we saw the writing on the wall. So then when I ended up working on at Blue Cross Blue Shield, you had to go through training, and that training is ridiculous. When people call you, they expect you to know that stuff off the back of your head, on the top of your brain. Every single diagnosis and every single symptom.
Are you serious?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no database.
Yeah, it's one, but they,
catalog?
but you got to know where to go to find it, and they didn't have the greatest search engine. There was like no Google back then. There was no Google. Man,
they treated y'all like a cheesecake factory.
I tell you now,
memorize that
the system I have now, you'd be better off looking up policy online. On Google will come to you faster than your agency system. That's how slowly and poorly that they integrate stuff. They got more stuff online that's why when people wonder why when customers call them, they know more than them, because there's so much stuff online. True. So that was the deal.
Definitely do our research.
Yep. So it was super duper stressful even going through that Blue Cross Blue Shield. I've seen people fighting, because you're dealing with personalities every day. You're in that room, what training like. You're in that one room, dealing with different personalities, and they act like school kids. Yeah, eventually everybody start acting like school kids instead of acting like professionals. It's hard to believe that some of the training program, because now it's at a point now that I don't care what job it is, if they're going to pay you anything over $25,000, they want you to have a college degree, and
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, which means
$25,000 ain't no money,
right?
You need to start that college degree mess around $50,000-$60,000, and that should be for the most entry level stuff.
But remember though, when they had those really big companies like Cityco and all them, that it was having all those customer service jobs come here, right?
Yeah,
they had those
city industry.
Yep. Remember they had those training programs, and at that time you can just walk right off the street with a high school diploma and get a job there. But now.
I definitely did. They brought me in, no college experience, making $39,000. I was in my mid-20s. I was happy as I don't know what.
Did they move?
Now,
did they move or something like that? Or they just streamline their resources?
So we worked for the branch of Citi called Citi Financial.
Mm-hmm.
And so Citi Financial was sold. And then we went through many different agencies, their policies, their renewals, their rules, their changing of things, their massive layoffs. It just really tore the whole company apart, especially when you came from that company. It's like it was the reversal of going back to away from the promised land. It was basically the story of Moses in reverse, and everybody went back to Pharaoh. They literally took all of our upgraded information and basically sent us back 10 years on purpose. Just because their database wasn't up to code. It was all type of stuff. And then the office politics. So that's exactly where my component
that's stress. Yep, that's stress.
From. Right, dealing with office politics and knowing how to navigate the cattiness.
Imagine you're in a training program for 6 to 9 months. You don't have your own space. You're at the mercy of the instructors, and sometimes it depends on how mature your instructors are. And then you have a lead manager that really don't know nobody, and they just just trying to wing that day. So that was some of the stuff that that I had to go through with that disease. And like I said, when I got a chance to really start getting into working out, to change my eating habits, because now you're starting to become more serious about yourself, and then you're concerned about what you put in your body, because now you want to build muscle. So you're starting to study. So like I said, accidentally from the research, with all the muscle building and lifts and stuff I was doing, going to, Planet Fitness and everything, pretty much 5 days a week, hour to 2 hours, because my son knew how to lift weights because he was on the track team, and most of the track team consist of football players, so he learned how to lift weights, and he taught me. And then next thing I know, when I went in there, I had normal, A1Cs and stuff. So, but then, now in the pandemic, I'm hearing that a lot of people who have underlying issues are having problems managing their disease. The doctors don't know what's going on. They scratching their head. I mean, I was talking to the people at the phlebotomist and all, and she said, "Man, people are coming in here with sick kids now with COVID because because the mom was a teacher, and she didn't have no symptoms, but it passed to the kids, so they can't figure out how is this happening,
It's so scary.
It's so puzzling, yeah. And I talked to my neighbor. He works for two of the leading hospitals in Maryland, and he said the doctors just don't have a clue. And then they were set so far behind, because of the politics, because they got to a certain point that 45 just didn't want no more talk about it. Remember, he was just like, it's done with. It's a hoax. It's not real. So we got to move on. So that kind of set the medical community behind. That they really couldn't really. I think we at a point now where they got to find a treatment. Because right now I don't even think that's really a real vaccine. I think it's more of something that's boosting your immune system to help you fight off the
whole bunch of vitamins.
Yeah, the real impact. Yeah, bees, probably loaded with a bunch of bees and stuff. You know how you feel when you get a B vitamin shot? You feel tremendous.
Okay, you up.
Yeah, man, you can go 3 days and fall asleep. It's like,
okay,
you pumped
might
up.
as well get you a pure adrenaline shot.
Yeah. So I think it's just something that's just to help boost the immune system, and then who knows? You never heard them say, if you gotta get it every year, every 2 years, like this
They
would.
said you just need both of the doses.
Yeah, that's all you heard, right? It might fade out in a month. They don't know yet. Look, I remember hearing this one time, and we gotta get ready to close out. I remember a medical person told me, they said they're waiting to find out when we're going to get a flu shot that you don't have to get because it's almost like now you have to get the flu shot every 6 months versus a year.
I don't get it. Never have.
Well, you have to get it if you're diabetic, or you're just not going to make it. You're not going to survive the flu. Just like that thing will take you out. Yeah. And then and we have to get the pneumonia shot. A lot of people didn't even know it was a such thing called a pneumonia shot.
I had no idea you had to get the
Yep. When they told me about it, I said, "What? I got a shot for that?" Because I know my brother had it twice, and he never got the shot before. He never knew about it. He had double pneumonia back-to-back years. So it was like a lot of people weren't even aware of that shot. And then remember, too, we still had to get the H1N1. That's actually combined with the flu shot now.
So the H1N1, you can get rid of that with Tamiflu. That Tamiflu is something nice. I don't know why they just won't sprinkle that all over the place and see what happens. My daughter had the H1N1. She lost so much weight, and she was already I
remember that thing hit. Remember, kids was sick for like 2 weeks.
I know, it was so scary.
Yeah, that was crazy because I remember that was the same time period they launched the 4G network. Everybody got sick. Oh my
gosh, here you go, back to technology.
I know, it was just weird. I was like, what a coincidence. The kids got sick the same exact week that they launched the big network.
Ooh, you think it's related?
Yeah, I think it was going to start coming out that, they have no clue to anything, and eventually, the science community going to say, hey, we told them that we thought this was going to create some problems. And it's some biologists that really believe that it could be weaponizing what's already been in people. And that's why everybody got different symptoms, because some people had never had the flu shot before, and some people have gotten it 2-3 years ago. Maybe they got a different version, Who knows? We just don't know exactly. It could be the environment that's just fighting us right now.
We need our conspiracy theorists to hop online with us and give us a better explanation.
Oh, they all over YouTube. You go to YouTube, you find some stuff that's like, I don't know, man. That sounds like that could be a good one right there. I think I believe, because they ain't telling us nothing out here. Well, What are they telling us?
do.
You know, people just now they telling the CDC just reported they advising people to wear double masks. How you gonna breathe?
What is that about?
How you gonna breathe?
What is that about? Exactly.
You
You
might as well
barely
just say
breathing the one. And
you
now
just
you want me to take my little nasty breath and breathe it back into my body. I
yeah.
want
They
to
want.
kick
So
that
what I
out.
do
It's
is
right
I
there.
wear a surgical mask, a fresh, clean surgical mask, and then I just put a gator mask over top of it just to dress it up. You know,
Okay.
that's what I do. But yesterday, my wife and I went to Target, and I didn't have none. I didn't have one in my pocket. And I said, "Oh, I forgot it," because I left it in the car, my other car. And so my wife said, "Oh, I got an extra one," and she had an extra cloth mask. So now I got to wear that over my gator mask. So I'm like, "Honey, I can't hang in here, but 15 minutes it stops."
That's all you got
After
in you,
that,
right?
I be applying for jobs as a deep sea diver.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. I think I can dive now. Go hold my breath for 20 minutes in Target.
See, oh my gosh. Things are getting bad out here. And so I just pray that our listeners are well, their family
Yeah,
is well, that we will be well, and that our children will stay safe from this pandemic.
yeah,
The schools are forcing to reopen right now. I'm very
yeah.
leery and hesitant to return my children so
But aren't
fast
the
because
unions? Are the
there are
union? What are the unions saying in Maryland? I know the unions in New York is threatening to strike. But what are they saying here in Maryland?
I am not in the loop. I
Huh.
have no idea. According to our website, their plan is to reopen in waves,
You have to
and
go visit. You got to visit the Maryland State the union website and see
oh,
what they're saying.
TAPCO,
Yeah,
TAPCO for Baltimore County, right?
yeah. Check them out. See what they
We don't
saying.
so I'm out of the loop, but this is what I've heard. I've heard that the teachers are against it, that they don't have enough vaccinations to prepare the teachers to go back into the schools, and that many parents, although they want their child, to get that social stimulation and to get a better quality of education with in-person, face-to-face learning, they
Right,
still don't want their child to get sick. Or some people have special needs children, and their schools are opening up first.
right,
The special needs schools are opening up first on March 1st. And although that is a great environment to handle that type of population, those children sometimes are nonverbal. So how do they express to you that they're not feeling well, or that they're in pain, or that
right. Yeah,
there's something irregular? And so I still don't believe this is the best.
yeah. It's gonna be too
Um,
unsafe. It's unpredictable
it's,
because I
it
mean,
very
it's like
much is.
like my neighbor. His family flew to Florida for the Christmas holiday for 2 weeks, and his nephew was playing with his sons, but one son got COVID, and then he caught it from his son, but his wife and oldest son didn't get it. So that was really bizarre. So he's kind of looking at blood types because they both B's, and he said him and his other son O negative or something like that. So he's wondering if it's related to blood type now, you know, because they always
That's a
vitamin
great
it up.
start.
Yeah, he
We
diabetic
don't
too.
know.
You know, he's like
So yeah, it's three strains of COVID in America right now, right? The regular
yeah.
one, the UK one, and the African
Yeah,
one.
he said at 3 o'clock in the morning he was hallucinating. He seen the way he was. He was fighting. He was
Really?
fighting demons. Yeah. He said, if it wasn't for his son being there, he can hear him, feel his heartbeat. He said he don't know where he would have been. He said it was rough. He said it was like every night, because I didn't see him for a period of time. It was like there was no movement. And I knew he went away for the holiday. And he said, I had a feeling. I told my wife, I said, I think, they must got affected or something, So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, people, your kids going in and out. No, my kids wanted to go out. My son snuck out one day to go have lunch with his friends at Wendy's. And we said, well, we're going to let him stay in his room for 5 days and check on us. If your nose running, are you coughing? He had nothing. So we said, okay, you must be safe. But we kept our mask on anyway. So,
Exactly.
but they ended up getting tested before they went back to school. So that was good because I had to ride in the car with them for 6 hours.
Oh no, you better had tested them before they went back to that campus.
Yeah, well, that school required
better
that. Yeah, the school required that. So they're going to be
They
doing a
see the
lot of,
paperwork.
yeah, yep. Yeah, they sent the kit in the mail, and they did their little thing, dropped it and took it to FedEx. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. At least I didn't have to hunt down the urgent care.
No, they never. They sent they had it in the mail, man. Their own thing. Yeah. Well, look, we got to get out of here. Kelly Holland was a great show.
It's late, Batman.
Yeah. Well, I'm off. I took a couple. You know, we got a holiday coming up with President's Day, Monday. You know, for the, I guess the federal workers and I guess the state workers celebrating it too. I believe. You guys, local government, yeah, everybody enjoy their 3-day weekend and stay safe and happy Valentine's Day to all our ladies, all our listeners.
And men. This is a couple holiday. It's
Yeah.
not just
Well, I'm saying it to the
holiday.
ladies. I ain't wishing no guy no happy Valentine's Day. I'm a Batman.
I'll wish
Yeah,
the
you
men
wish
a
the
happy
men. Yeah, you wish
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. It was so funny. I was my wife said she went at some she said, "You gonna treat me to some wine for Valentine's Day?" So I went on there and got a wine while she was shopping for cars and stuff. And it was a guy was getting out the car and I didn't see the lady getting out. He said, "Oh my God," he said, "Is it Valentine's Day this weekend?" He just said it out loud. And I said, so I didn't see her. I said, "Yeah, dude, it's Sunday." He said, "Oh man, I'm gonna be in trouble." And she get out the car and she said, "You sure are gonna be in trouble." He says, "Dude, you gotta make a move, man."
Yeah, I
funny.
can't stand when men leave it all on the women to plan plot. Everything, sir. I got to do everything because this is not romantic.
I know she's already saying, "Where we gonna eat?" "Wherever you want to eat, honey."
Oh my
I
God,
just don't want to eat. I just don't want to eat in the car. That's my whole thing. Pick a place. See, she know my favorite place is Rita's Crab Shack. I don't want to go nowhere else but there.
I
Yeah,
go to Reddit. I go there.
that's
go
my
there
place.
all the time.
You know, they never fail me. And she's like, "They always mess my order up." I said, "Hi, no, they don't. You just don't tell them. You just don't like the way they prepare it. No, the way it's supposed to be done. You always telling people take stuff off. You should just make it yourself. In that case, okay, I'm getting a taco, but hold the taco sauce and hold the lettuce and the tomatoes. So you just want the meat, yeah,
The shell.
in the shell. Man, we could have just went to Royce and got that stuff. I'm spend $15 for 2 tacos.
Batman. We not about to do no White's bad shit.
I know not. I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, we gotta get out of here then. Let me give you a clap. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. You guys have a super duper weekend and stay safe. We got another snowstorm coming our ways, including ice and all that good stuff here in the Maryland area. But we appreciate you all. Stay safe, stay warm. We out.
Have a good night.
That's right.
Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power. A double X.
Positive Power 21.org. Internet radio.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide. We are one in Christ. Hello, everybody. This is Remedy John, a gospel artist from Nigeria, Africa, and you're actually listening to Jerry Ross Live Worldwide Podcast. You don't want to miss this great show. Hook up, hook up, hook up. God bless you. God bless you.